And we're live. What's up, guys? It's your man Seamus here, and welcome to the 248 podcast, the brand new podcast series that I am starting on my channel. This is something I'm going to be doing regularly on my channel going forward. And of course, this is the very first installment in my new series. So uh, this is just me testing the waters, doing this completely improvised, no real preparation into this whatsoever. I'll be doing this in the future with special guests, some of my friends who are also YouTubers like Matt Balloon 1115. Go subscribe to his channel right now, and I'll be doing some of these with him. Some other friends of mine who either A, have YouTube channels, or B, want to just do podcasts with me. So, and it'll be a lot more professional. Like I talked to Matt about what kind of podcast he'd want to do, and he agreed that he'd like to do one, but he told me to think about like topics and like think about what we should talk about when we do this in a more professional, more like structured manner. So this is just me just doing it first just to see how it goes by myself and really test the waters. So I don't know how long this is going to go on for. It could go on for like 20 minutes, half hour, an hour. um, so yeah, you're just getting me as I'm going in real time. So I really don't know what I'm doing. I think about like some of my favorite YouTubers and like how professional they are, how much work and effort they put into making their videos look as good as they do. And then like you get curious to see like what their old videos were like, so you look at their old videos from like when they first launched their channel and they look so young and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. Like if you go to ARTV, that's my man right there. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's a great music critic, John is, and you'll notice how good his videos look now. If you look at his very first review, which was Life Starts Now by 3 Days Grace, great album by the way. He's in high school. He just looks so young. He had no idea what he was doing, and he even laughs at his old videos and stuff like that. Like I guess me as a viewer, I have the green light to laugh at that video too because it's just kind of silly. But hey, it's everyone needs to get their start somewhere. So this is me doing my first podcast. So of course, as time goes on, I'll get better and better at these. So like I said, excuse me. When Matt and I, for example, start doing podcasts, we'll know beforehand what exactly we want to talk about because like I talked to him yesterday about this and he said think about what kind of topics you want to talk about. And so yeah, I'm not going to disclose any of that right now for two reasons. One, because I don't want to give anything away, and number two, I don't even know what the fuck I want to talk about yet. As of right now, I really don't know what exactly I want to talk about. I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but not to the fullest extent. So I think for this first podcast, I'll just say whatever comes into my mind. Before I'm actually at Matt's house right now. He let me come over and use his laptop to record this first podcast, but he's a little busy right now, so I'm just doing this solo. But yeah, I went to Price Chopper before coming over here to do this podcast. Excuse me. And I bought some snacks, and I noticed they had expired coupons on the back of my receipt, like expired coupons for Denny's and fucking Popeyes. And I just thought that what the fuck is going on? Like this is the stupidest shit ever. So I was at Price Chopper, got some snacks, and on my way out, I took a crack at the claw machine where they have all the stuffed animals and stuff, and I won a little bear with an Eagles jersey. Took me about 5 tries, but I won him. And I have a couple other stuffed animals that I won recently at Walmart. Like I have one of the Angry Beavers from that Nickelodeon show back in the day, which I confess I never watched once, so I don't know what his name is, but he's yellow. So any of you old school Nickelodeon fans out there, drop a comment below, tell me who it is. It's the yellow beaver from Angry Beavers. And then I won a little black kitty cat with he has like candy corn for a tail since Halloween's on the horizon. So I won him, and it got me thinking. I haven't played a claw machine since I was really little, and back in the day when I was younger, that was like my shit. Like me and my grandma used to fucking own claw machines. Everywhere we went, supermarkets, restaurants, anywhere that had a claw machine, we would put all our $1 bills in there and just clean out the fucking thing. And my grandma actually did that one time in a supermarket. I'm not kidding. She just kept throwing ones in there, just bang, 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 won every single stuffed animal in the claw machine. And then we went in that supermarket the one day and the claw machine was gone. But yeah, I used to win like elephants and teddy bears and cartoon characters. And then my favorite was when Spider-Man 3 came out. By the way, awesome movie. That's my favorite Spider-Man movie. Very underrated. Gets a bad rap. I don't know why y'all fucking hate that movie. It's awesome. Kirsten Dunst's acting is really bad in that movie. She makes Mary Jane really unlikable. But that's another issue for another day. I might do a review of that movie at some point on the channel. Leave a comment below telling me if you'd like to hear that or not, because I have a lot of interesting thoughts about Spider-Man 3. But yeah, I love that movie. I beat the video game, for it so many times. And when I got the game, I got it on PS2. It came with a little bonus DVD. It had an interview with Stan Lee. It had interviews with all the cast of the movie. And so yeah, I love that movie. And when it came out, that was 2007, so I was 10 years old. Me and my grandparents, we went to Perkins, and my grandma put $1 in the claw machine, and she won the black suited Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3. And I was the happiest fucking kid on earth. And she still has it to this day. I think next time I see her, I'm going to ask her if I could have it. I'm going to ask her if I could have that black suited Spider-Man and like put it in my room, because, I mean, it's nostalgic for me. Plus, I am low-key a superhero fan. Like, I love Batman and Spider-Man and like the Avengers and stuff. Like, I've got like the Funko Pops. I've got a big stack of comic books. I have a lot of Batman comics. They're all recent. Like, some of them tie into the Arkham City video game. And most of my comics are like recent, like from like the last 10 years or so. They were all 50 cents at my local video game store, which is in downtown Scranton. Part of the reason I have so many like modern ones are like because there's like old advertisements for old shows and old things from like the early 2000s. Like, you see like old JCPenney advertisements, and like, I forget which comic book, like which series it is, but on the back cover is an advertisement for the original Yu-Gi-Oh show, and it says like premiering in September on Kids WB, and that shit just takes me back, man. Like, fuck, do y'all remember Kids WB? Like, fucking old school Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, fucking Legion of Superheroes with like Superman as a teenager, Crypto the Super Dog. Do y'all remember that shit? Like, that shit just takes me back. So, like, I'll be flipping through like this little bin in the comic book store where everything's 50 cents, and they're all organized alphabetically. So if you want to get like Spider-Man, Batman, like X-Men, the Avengers, whatever the fuck, like, it's all organized alphabetically. It's like you flip through them, and not only are the comics like really fun to skim through, but like all the advertisements are like if you got a comic book from like 2008, 2009, around that time, you might get some like an advertisement for like Modern Warfare 2 or some shit on the old 360 and the PS3. It's a nice little bit of nostalgia, because like that shit is modern, yet it's been like 9 or 10 years since all that shit came out, so it's really old. It's like, it's not even that old. It's not like it feels so ancient. Like, that's part of another thing I was thinking about talking about on this podcast, is like, it's like things that like aren't that old they seem that old. And that segues perfectly into another thing I want to talk about, because Matt lives next door to a Price Chopper, like I said, and his house is on top of this hill. And at the bottom of the hill, excuse me again, I'm sorry for I keep coughing. Sorry, I'm taking a sip of iced tea. So, at the bottom of the hill, there's this huge-ass plaza with Walmart. Walmart's like the main store, obviously. And then there's like a bunch of different stores. There's a Subway, there's a Dollar Tree, there's a Tractor Supply Company. There used to be a Chinese buffet. There used to be a shoe store. There used to be a Radio Shack. By the way, LOL, Radio Shack. That used to be a thing. And in the middle of it all, it's still there now. In the middle of it all is GameStop. And so that's my nearest GameStop. That's my local GameStop. So I've done a lot of shopping there over the years. And by extension, my perception of that store and my perception of GameStop in general has very much shifted over years. Like, it's definitely changed over time. Like, I always knew, like, we all knew from the beginning GameStop was a horrible company. But I know there's plenty of people out there that have GameStops where the employees are nice and they don't really shove all the corporate shit down your throat, and they just want you to have a good experience when you're shopping. Like, there are some GameStop employees out there that actually give a fuck about you to some extent, and I've had good experiences in GameStop. I've had good experiences in this GameStop. I've got some good deals. I got some really nice games. Um, I mean, I kind of have to be grateful to it because when that GameStop first opened, I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago or so, and I was still a kid at the time, so I didn't have the money to buy it myself. But my parents bought me a PS3 for Christmas, and they bought me 3 games with it. Burnout Paradise, which is my favorite video game of all time. Batman Arkham Asylum, which is my second favorite game of all time. And then Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Republic Heroes, which I never even fucking played. I played it a little bit, but I was like, nah. Because Burnout Paradise is my shit. And actually, a couple years back, Matt, I keep bringing Matt up because he's my boy. He and I were playing his old Xbox 360, and he was able to download Burnout Paradise for free on his 360, and then he was able to transfer that over to his Xbox One. So if I fire up his Xbox One right now, I can play Burnout Paradise. I can also play Rocket League, which is another fucking great game. I could play Fortnite, but I'm not going to do that because another unpopular opinion, fuck Fortnite. Like, you ever hear the saying, like, oh, everyone else is playing checkers, but I'm playing chess? Like, it's not exactly that, but, like, you know, like that saying, like, if Fortnite is checkers, then Rocket League is chess. And that's an insult to checkers because checkers is an underrated game. I'm dead fucking serious, too. Like, I know chess is, like, a more classier game. It's, like, more complex. But there's a lot of strategy that goes into checkers. Like, I've played some pretty intense games of checkers when I was a kid, I'm not gonna lie. I'm fucking lame as fuck. Why the fuck are y'all listening to this? So, yeah, I have to be kind of grateful to that GameStop. But, reason I bring up, like, why things that aren't that old feel old is because, like, when you go into GameStop now, it's all emphasis on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch, right? Like, they're not gonna push, like, fucking the Xbox 360 or PS3. Like, I was just in there recently, and I'll explain why in just a minute, but I was in there, and, I was talking to a dude who said, oh, I just bought an Xbox 360 a couple weeks ago, so I have something to do. So, Xbox 360 came out in, what was that, 2005? It's now 2018, almost 2019, and this guy is just now getting an Xbox 360. Now, to be fair, of course, you know, it's all he could afford. You know, he doesn't want any of the newer shit. He just wants something to play when he's, like, this is what he told me. He said, like, oh, I just want something to play when I'm not at work and I'm at home and stuff like that, which I can understand. So it was at that point, I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Let me recommend this game to you. Like, I started recommending Burnout Paradise, fucking Saints Row, fucking, like, I'm trying to think of, like, old UFC Undisputed, like Tony Hawk's Project 8, Tony Hawk's Proving Ground, like old school Tony Hawk games from like the early to mid to late 2000s. Like, I started recommending those games, and it was at that point I realized that, like, I was recommending him good games that are cheap, that aren't that expensive, whereas the employees at GameStop aren't gonna fucking do that. Like, I'm recommending what this guy should buy, and then he's gonna in turn go to the front counter, buy those games, and GameStop's gonna make some money, but it's not the shit that they would fucking, like, they're not going to shove those games down his throat. And even though those games are fucking awesome, like, I love Burnout Paradise, I love Saints Row the Third, that's my favorite Saints Row, that game is fucking awesome. Like, have you heard the soundtrack for Saints Row the Third? There's fucking Miss May I, the Black Dahlia murder, and it's like Grand Theft Auto with a sense of humor. Like, it's just so fun. Like, Sleeping Dogs is another one I recommend to him because that game is fucking satisfying as all holy hell. Like, if you ever played Sleeping Dogs, like, one of the first missions you have is, like, you have to beat up that, like, group of Chinese dudes, and then you take the guy over the counter, and then you slam the gate over his midsection. That is probably the most satisfying thing I've ever done in a video game, is slam a gate. Like, if you ever been in a mall, and you know, like, when a store in a mall closes, like, they bring the gate down over the front entrance. Like, you take that gate, you put the guy over the counter, you slam the gate on his fucking midsection. That, the first time I did that, like, like, I'm making it sound like a cult, aren't I? Like, I'm making video games sound more like creepy than they really are. But, like, video games are like, it's like it's a release. It's an outlet for some of us. Like, that's why some of us like playing. Like, I loved playing Modern Warfare 3, the survival mode, because when you start out that mode, you have like the model 1887, and you could shoot at the enemy's legs, and you'd still fucking kill them. So yeah, I mean, so I wasn't like I was recommending what games the dude should buy, and whereas I knew the employees at GameStop were going to try and push them, oh, get the power-up rewards, get the new Xbox One, get the PS4, get the Switch, do this and that. And the reason I bring any of that up is because I walked out of there with the Wii U. I went in there looking for a Wii U, I walked out with the Wii U. Yes, I bought a Wii U in 2018. Not a Switch, not a PS4, not an Xbox One. I know all the good games on the Wii U are coming out for the Switch, basically rendering the Wii U obsolete, but I don't fucking care. It's what I could afford, it's what I wanted. And do I regret it? Fuck no. So I got Batman Arkham City Armored Edition for the Wii U. Which, by the way, I think I'm having more fun with that than I am with the original version of the game, because all the original DLC is included. The gamepad is like integral to the gameplay. It adds new dimensions. There's new cutscenes. You get to play as Catwoman at the beginning of the game, and it ties into why Two-Face kidnaps her and puts her above that vat of waste in the courthouse early on in the game. So I'm having fun with that. I got Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which that was the first Wii U game I ever played, like years ago. It was like my Walmart had a Wii U where you could play game demos, and that was on there, and I played it and had so much fun with it, which is why I picked it up. My friend just gave me Star Fox Guard for free, just for the fuck of it, and that game is 99 cents at GameStop, I think, so I mean, I didn't get much of a steal, but it's a pretty decent game. And then I got a couple others, and I have my eye on a few more. So I went in there looking for a Wii U, and what's funny is my friend works there, and yet he's doing the textbook GameStop, just, oh no, you don't want to do that, you want to get the power-up rewards, and you want to get the new Xbox, and like you want to trade in your Xbox 360 and all your games, and get the Xbox One, and I'll throw in this and that, and you can get all these new games for Christmas, and this and that, and I'm just like, stop fucking trying to sell me shit, like, I just want, like, and, like, he was trying to, he fucking harassed me, like, just kept hammering away, oh no, you don't want the Wii U, why would you want that, there's no games coming out for it, they're all remaking those games on the Switch, and fucking, it's like, I don't give a fuck, they're good on the Wii U, they're cheap, it's like, they're not expensive, but they're not cheap in quality, like, they're really good games, like, I'm probably gonna get myself Super Mario Maker at some point, maybe Mario Kart 8, I don't really want that, obviously because it's on the Switch now, but also I have Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, so I don't really need another racing game, but, yeah, I have my eye on a few other games for the Wii U, like, so, I mean, he just kept hammering away, buy the Xbox One, do this, do that, like, like, I walked from my house to that GameStop, which I think I've done a couple videos on my channel where I walked from my house to Walmart in that plaza as part of a vlog. Yeah, I walked there, he's like he kept asking me to walk back home, grab my Xbox 360 and all my games. I have like 60 or so games for the 360. He's like, trade them all in and we'll get you an Xbox One. And he kept saying, free Xbox One. No, it's not free, because I'd be taking all the money in my pocket, coupling that with getting rid of my entire Xbox 360 collection just to get an Xbox One with no games. So, and plus I bought most of my 360 games there. So I know that they're really cheap, and they have essentially no trade-in value at GameStop whatsoever. You're lucky if you get fucking 20 cents for most of the games in my collection. And even the model of the 360 I have is only worth $20 in trade-in value. So I walked out of there with the Wii U, and that was a few weeks ago. Since then, I've been going back in there, looking to buy more Wii U games, and the fucking girl that works behind the register, she just gives me dirty looks, she shakes her head, she's like, I'm really disappointed in you, like, you should just trade that in and buy the Switch and do this and that. So I made a joke, I was like, Donald Trump is the president, worst decisions have been made. Like, I always joke about that shit with people, and she's like, nah, this is the worst decision, like, trying to fucking shame me because I bought a fucking Wii U. Like, it's what I wanted, it's what I could afford, and guess what, I'm having a fucking blast with it. Like, I know it's 2018, I know the Switch is out, I know the Switch is great, but I really don't give a fuck. I'm having a lot of fun with the Switch. I haven't had this much fun with playing games in years. Like, I have, like, maybe 5 or 6 consoles in my possession right now. Like, my favorite console of all time is the PS2. That'll never change. PS3 is up there. 360 is up there. I think the Wii U is probably number 4 on my list. I'm just having a lot of fucking fun with it. And, yeah, I go in there and they just give me dirty looks. They try to shame me and, like, make me feel guilty about buying it. And I know why they're doing it. They're not doing it because, like, oh, I made a poor choice as a gamer. Like, no, because I'm not making their company money. Now, I should be fair to them, right? Because I know that, like, in the best circumstances, if they weren't working at GameStop and they weren't being pressured to sell shit, they probably wouldn't be saying that. Now, after the way they harassed me and tried to talk me out of buying the Wii U, they probably would talk like that, and they probably would still have that opinion, like, still trying to make me feel guilty about it. But I will give them some benefit of the doubt because I know that they're being pressured to fucking, meet numbers and satisfy the corporate side of things. And I've seen a lot of videos from former employees about, like, how much of a nightmare it really is to work at GameStop. I've applied there before. I've thought about working about there. You can see that I didn't really put any preparation into this. Like, I didn't script this. Like, I will admit, sometimes when I do videos like reviews and shit, I try to, like, script it and make sure everything is perfect. But this video here, this first podcast, I'm just making sure, like, I'm just testing the waters just to see how it goes. Like, I didn't really, like, I thought a bit about what I wanted to talk about, but I didn't really think about, like how I should go about it. I'm not really being, like, too scripted or, like, I'm just trying to be off the cuff. Like I want you guys to think of me as a friend. Like, we're just two people having a conversation, right? I mean, I'm doing all the fucking talking. But just two people having a conversation, right? So, excuse me. Let me take another sip of iced tea. I really hope you can't hear that. So, yeah. So my perception of my local GameStop has really changed because they're making me feel guilty. I mean, it's not working. I don't feel guilty. I love that I bought the Wii U, but they're trying to make me feel guilty about it. They're fucking just hammering away the corporate side of things. And what was really funny when I bought the Wii U was, like, the dude kept trying to give me the good version of the pitch. Like, oh, you want to save up for, you can get the Wii U some other time. Just get the power-up rewards and get the Xbox One and get all the new games and do this and that. It's like, I'm trying to save you money, man. Trying to save you and your parents money for Christmas because that's what we do here at GameStop. We care about the gamers. And the girl working behind the counter, the same girl that gives me dirty looks, she literally said, no, we don't. So he's trying to tell me that they, like, he's like, that's what we do at GameStop, save people money. And she literally rebuked that, or is that a word, rebuked? Like, she literally debunked that, or whatever fucking word you want to use. She's like, no, we don't. So there it is in a nutshell. I mean, I could appreciate the honesty. Like, I could appreciate the brutal honesty. I mean, I can appreciate that, like, they're not beating around the bush, and they're, like, basically saying, like, yeah, it's true, we're all just pawns in a corporate chess game. We're trying to meet numbers because we're being pressured to do so. So it's like, yeah, you go into GameStop and you see people be talked out of games when they don't, like, I don't know the dude's name, but, like, he has 2 videos about explaining why he left GameStop and what it was like working there, and how, like, a district manager pressured him into selling a woman that spoke no English a power-up rewards card, and then she came back asking for the manager because she didn't want the power-up rewards card, so that same district manager blamed him and said he would be reprimanded. Like, that shit's fucked up. And then if you go to RGT, I think his name is RGT85, I think his channel name is, he's another former GameStop employee. He worked there way back in the day, and he has a really good channel. Check him out. He has a couple of videos explaining his experience at GameStop, and he brought up how, no, it was either him or some other YouTuber who brought up how the district manager was, like, way back in the day buying Dreamcast games, or, like, he was asking for, like, he got them for free, and then he was asking to return them because he said, I'm the district manager, I can do what I want. Like, it was either RGT or some other dude who made that video. It's either him or I forget what the other dude's name is. But speaking of RGT, he's ultimately what convinced me to get the Wii U, because I was already thinking about it. Like, I knew I wanted it, but then I saw his video saying it was called Why You Should Buy a Wii U in 2018, explaining the pros and cons, or mostly the pros of getting a Wii U now. And that's what Like, if there was any doubt still left, that's what convinced me, just get the Wii U. And like I said, I am very happy with the Wii U, so. Yeah, and then when you watch these videos of former employees and stuff, they explain, oh, GameStop's on a downward spiral. Their sales are declining. They're closing stores. They're not going to survive too much longer. And RGT, the same dude that convinced me to buy the Wii U, he explains how, like, it would be kind of sad if GameStop went away, because that'd be like the end of an era, and that'd be like, it's like the digital age finally taking over completely, and just like, I mean, it would be kind of weird if GameStop went away. It's like, you don't, like, there are still a couple stores around here, like, there's one mom and pop store that was up the hill from GameStop, just a few minutes away from my GameStop, and then they moved downtown, so now it's a little harder to get there, so I can't just walk there anymore. And there's a couple other stores in a 20 to 30 minute radius, if that makes any sense. But, yeah, GameStop is just the most convenient just by default, so I just go there looking for games. I mean, I go there because, I mean, it's a video game store, and I love video games, so by default, I want to go there, but I don't know. It would be weird if GameStop just went away, but at the same time, like, after some of the experiences I've had recently and hearing about some of the shit that goes on behind the scenes, like, would I be sad if they went away? Well, a little bit, but would I be, like, actively mourning them, wishing they'd come back? No, not really. And, yeah, they've never, when the rubber meets the road, like, when it boils right down to it, they've never really given a fuck about you and me, the gamer, the consumer. They're just worried about lining their own pockets and padding the bottom line, so would I be, like, overcome with sadness if GameStop went away? No, not really. And, not that they give a fuck, or not that they'll ever give a fuck, but that's really low territory, because there's not too many people or things that I'd be happy that went away. Like if I woke up tomorrow and Jerry Sandusky was dead, like, who gives a fuck? He's a fucking pedophile, he molested children, and he's still trying to appeal his conviction. In fact, I just read a few weeks ago, because I was bored, I was reading the shit with Michigan State, so that ended up with me looking back into the shit with Penn State, and apparently Jerry Sandusky is still trying to appeal his pension forfeiture from Penn State. So even if he stays in prison, he wants Penn State to keep paying him his retirement money. Like, what a fucking sick individual. Like, I'm sure his family will be grieving when he's dead, but if I wake up tomorrow and he's dead, I'm not gonna fucking miss him. So if I wake up tomorrow when GameStop is, they announce that they're liquidating all their stores, and, like, they join the likes of Blockbuster and Toys R Us and just liquidating all their stores and just going out of business, like, for them, I'll be kind of sad, because it's like the end of an era, and it's kind of weird for the gaming community. It'd be like a somewhat somber thing for the gaming community, but gun to my head, yes or no, would I really miss them? Not really, because what I certainly wouldn't miss is the fucking, just harassing me to, don't buy this, buy that, or, like, don't buy that, buy this. Like, they just push me to get the warranty. Like, I take good care of my games, and most of the games now are made with, like, fucking Blu-ray discs, like, especially in the PS3, and I don't think the Wii U discs are Blu-rays, but they fucking look like Blu-rays, and they stay in really good condition. Like, I've logged a good bit of hours into my game since I bought the Wii U, and I'm not getting any scratches or fingerprints on them. There weren't any fingerprints or scratches on them to begin with. So, I mean, as time goes on, like, sure, we're going to be moving towards all digital shit, but as long as we still have physical copies, like, those discs are going to be made with, like, better technology. So, like, it takes an awful fucking lot to bang up a Blu-ray disc. And, I mean, when I got the PS3, I got, like I said, Burnout Paradise, the Arkham games, all the NBA 2K, the Modern Warfare trilogy, Battlefield 3, all some of my favorite games of all time, by the way. All those games are fucking awesome. And I would just bang out 50, 60, even 100 hours into those games. All of them. Like, Burnout Paradise, I have at least 100 hours on that. I have, like, 100 hours on Arkham Asylum, I think, because I just kept replaying through that game because it's so fucking fun. I kept replaying missions because they're just so fun. Yeah, and the discs, like, there's a couple scratches, a couple fingerprints here and there, but the discs are still in excellent condition. And it's just weird. They'll ask me, like, do you want the warranty? Like, no, I'm not gonna want the fucking $2 warranty when I take good care of the disc and it's fucking Blu-ray. Like, then they ask me, oh, do you want the Power Up Rewards card? Like, no, I fucking don't. And then saying, oh, trade in your Wii U and your return the Wii U and trade in your whole 360 collection just to get an Xbox One. Like, for what? Like, I don't fucking need it. Like, I don't care that it's new. It's like, oh, 4K graphics and, like, it's the future of gaming. Like, that's great. I'm sure all the games that are out, like, I love Rocket League. I'm probably going to play that when I'm done with this podcast. Like, I'm sure all you Fortnite players out there love Fortnite, and that's good for you. Like, I've never really been a fan of Call of Duty. Like, I like the Modern Warfare trilogy. I like World at War. I liked Black Ops 3. I even liked the first two Black Ops. They were pretty good. Even Finest Hour on the PS2, we're talking old school, that was pretty fun. Like, I have nothing against Call of Duty, but I'm not nearly as big a fan of Call of Duty as other people. Like, I was always more of a Battlefield guy. Like, I loved Battlefield 3. That's probably my favorite shooter of all time. Bad Company 2 was good back in the day. So, like, all this shit that's coming out now, I'm sure it's great. Like, I'm sure it'll, at some point, 10, 20 years, it'll go down as, like, some of the best games ever. I'm not sure which games will be worthy of that distinction. But, I don't need the newer shit. Like, as time has gone on and the 8th generation has, like, dawned upon us, because that was, like, fucking 6 years ago that the 8th generation kicked off with the Wii U, because that was the first 8th-gen console to come out. Like, what I've realized for me is, like, I don't need the newest shit to make myself happy. Like, I'm fine with just having my Android. I don't need a fucking $1,000 iPhone. Like, fucking $1,000 for a cell phone, seriously. Like, I'm not trying to brag about myself or give myself a pat on the back, but I really just am, like, I'm not a hard person to please at all. Like, I can go play Burnout Paradise right now, or play a Rocket League, or fire up my old PS2 and play fucking Gran Turismo 3, play fucking, I'm trying to think of some other examples, like, I can go play my Wii U, play fucking Arkham City Armored Edition, play Sonic and All-Stars Racing. It's like, is it 4K graphics? No. Is that a problem? Fuck no. They're good games, and that's all we should really fucking care about, because, like I said, when I encountered that dude that just bought the 360 and I was giving him, like, game recommendations, like I'm recommending games that, like, sure, first of all, they're cheap and they're not that expensive, but also they'd be games that he'd have a lot of fun with. And I know he would, because I had a lot of fun with those games, so I can speak for myself when I say that these games are a lot of fun. And he said, like I said before, that he told me that he just wanted the 360 because, you know, he wanted something just to do when he's not at work or whatever. So, you know, if he wants to make the most of his time with the 360, well, then you get Burnout Paradise, Saints Row the Third, Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 version, the Arkham games, some old school Assassin's Creed, like Assassin's Creed 3, or Injustice, Gods Among Us. And by the way, they're releasing Saints Row the Third on the Switch next year. That game came out in 2011, and they're releasing it on the Switch next year. Like, this is part of the reason I don't think I'll ever want a Switch. Like, why I understand maybe re-releasing, like, Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario Maker and all those games on the Switch, but it's like, why the fuck would you re-release old games? Like, it's like, I understand Rocket League is still really popular, and for good reason. It's a fucking good game. Like, it still has a really big online, like, thing going right now, so it makes sense to re-release that on the Switch. Like, that's a good example of a game that you re-release on the Switch. But why the fuck would you dig back for fucking Saints Row the Third? Like, it's the same reason, like, when they re-released Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U, so you could only have that game on the Wii U, but you couldn't complete the trilogy on the Wii U. Like, you just had the first two on PS3 and Xbox 360, but only had Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. It's like, so you're going to have Saints Row the Third on the Switch when the game came out fucking 8 years ago, and you're not going to have the first two games on the Switch. So, it's like, I can understand maybe wanting to re-release or remaster some games, but why would you dig back several years ago for random fucking games? Like, what is up with that shit? So, I just don't want a Switch. I'm happy with my Wii U. So, that's enough about video games for a while. Matt and I might talk a little bit about gaming when next time we do a podcast together. So next time I do one of these and Matt will be with me, we'll both be talking to each other. We might talk a little bit about gaming, but let's talk about something else. NBA season is about to kick off. I'm really excited for that. Now, I am a Lakers fan, so of course I'm very happy that we got LeBron James. But I am trying to be objective about it. Like, I am an actual Lakers fan. I suffered through the Jim bust years. I suffered through the failed Dwight Howard experiment. I suffered through Kobe's injuries, like when he couldn't be on the court and like he was just like that last season. Kobe's last season was painful. We went 17-65. Kobe was shooting 35% from the field, 20% from three-point range. That shit was fucking painful to watch. To watch my favorite player go out like that, be a shell of himself, not go out on a winning platform. And it wasn't even his fucking fault. Like, do you remember when Dwight Howard went to Houston and Stephen A. Smith asked him, if Phil Jackson was the coach, would you be leaving the Lakers? And he flat out said no. So, because remember when 5 games into that season, they fired Mike Brown, and the speculation was Phil Jackson was coming back as the coach, but they hired Mike D'Antoni. So, if they were really serious about keeping Dwight Howard, they would have appeased him by getting Phil Jackson, which is what he wanted. But no, they had. Not only did they not bring back Phil Jackson, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. Oh, because they had Steve Nash and he played with them in Phoenix, and they had some good years with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. But Mike D'Antoni, he's a good coach. He did well in New York. He's doing well in Houston now. And by the way, he's going to have Carmelo again. It's going to be. I wonder what it's going to be like to have him coach Carmelo again, but now Carmelo's coming off the bench, and Melo doesn't want to come off the bench. So it's like, that's going to be interesting to watch. And Melo has not gotten a fair shake at all. Like, he doesn't have a championship. He's hasn't been on a winning platform in years, like a real winning platform. Like, he just went to the playoffs last year with Westbrook and Paul George on OKC. But it's like he was like the third string dude. Like, he was averaging 17 points a game, not being the Melo we all know and love. Or at least I know and love, because I love me some Melo. But yeah, when the Lakers had D'Antoni, it's just that up-tempo, fast-paced offense with Dwight being injured, Steve Nash being 40, Pau Gasol and Meta being old and injured. So they had to play Kobe 40 minutes a game, ride him into the ground. By the way, that was one of Kobe's best seasons. He had like 27 points per game average. He shot like 46% of the field, making all those difficult shots, bringing the Lakers back into games, keeping them in games, just wowing us with his amazing offensive talents. I maintain that Kobe is the most talented offensive player in NBA history. I maintain that position because I remember Max Kellerman said on ESPN First Take, quote, Kobe is in the discussion for, quote, most skilled player in the history of American team sports. So I maintain that position. So, yeah, when we had Dwight Howard, we had the team was injured. The team had no chance to really gel and build team chemistry because that starting lineup, Nash, Kobe, Meta, Pau, and Howard, they didn't get too many games to actually start with each other, like be as the starting five. So there were way too many problems. That team could have won a championship, especially if they had Phil Jackson. Because if you remember the triangle, I know triangle gets a bad rap these days because it seems like a outdated offense. But back in the day, the triangle, like the center position was the best position to play. You just drive the ball, get the outside shot, get nice picks down low. Like Pau, like it worked for Pau and Bynum when they won in 2009, 2010. And it probably would have worked for Pau and Dwight Howard, even though Dwight was injured at the time. He was played almost the entire season with an injured back. But I'm confident that it would have worked, and like I said, Dwight said he wouldn't have left if Phil Jackson was the coach. So it's like I suffered through the Jim bust years where he just didn't appease Dwight Howard, yet he wanted Dwight Howard to stay. Ran Kobe into the ground, just giving Kobe the ultimate disrespect, not sending him out the right way, just wasting away the last few years of Kobe's career. And so yeah, I've suffered through some dark times in Lakerland, but now we have LeBron, so I'm excited. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Lakers fan. Objectively speaking, this team is a force to be reckoned with. We're not going to win the championship this year. I understand the prohibitive favorite is still Golden State, but in a year, 2 or 3 years from now, we can definitely win a championship. I'm definitely predicting we win at least one championship in the next 2-3 years. Because the team we have right now is great. Let alone the fact that we might land a nice free agent like a Kawhi Leonard type in the next year or two. The team we have right now is good. Like, we're definitely conference finals worthy. When you look at LeBron, he's still the best player in the game, still able to impact the game in a way that transcends positions, as I think Steve Kerr once put it. It's positionless basketball, and that's kind of the thing now. Like, you look at Kristaps Porzingis on the Knicks. He's 7'3". He's only 3 inches shorter than Yao Ming, and he's got range like a shooting guard. He can take bigs off the dribble. He can stretch the defense, stretch out the floor, and well, you got a guy like that who can shoot, and he's a fucking big man. Like, it's like that's the thing now. Big guys can shoot in the NBA, but it's like that's a special talent, just ability to stretch out the floor and take the big guys, take your matchups away from the basket and move things out to the perimeter. That just opens up a world of possibilities. So, I mean, Kuzma and Ingram are going to be all-stars. I think they'll be all NBA players too. They can shoot. They've got range for big guys. I think Kuzma's like a small forward or so. Ingram's a 4. I think you can slide Ingram to the 5 too. Like, they can shoot. They can pass. They can put the ball on the floor. But they've also got some size. Like, they can rebound, defend, and clear space. So, yeah, it's positionless basketball, and that it's going to serve the Lakers very well. Lonzo is definitely going to learn from playing with Rondo, because Rondo's like an old school point guard. He's kind of meat and potatoes. He's not the worst shooter in the world. Like, there are worse shooters out there than Rondo, even though he's not the best shooter. But hopefully Lonzo will be able to learn from him too, because Lonzo cannot shoot for shit. Lance Stevenson, that's LeBron's, that's like his kryptonite, always blowing in his ear during the playoff games. But now they're teammates, look at that. I mean, JaVale McGee's, I think he's no longer the Shaqtin' a Fool guy. Alright, I apologize, I had to pause that real quick. I was having some technical difficulties, but now we're back. So, like I was saying, this Lakers team, you can't sleep on them. They're a lot better than advertised. We're definitely going to the second round, probably the conference finals, and in a year or two, NBA champions. Calling it right now. I mean, this team with LeBron, Kuzma, and Ingram, and a solid foundation around them. Magic Johnson is the president of basketball operations. Rob Pelinka is the GM. Jeanie Buss is the controlling owner. And possibly landing another free agent in the next couple of years. I mean, good times in Lakerland, and we haven't had good times in a long time. So, like I said, I suffered through the Jim Buss years, so this is finally, like, it's a long time coming. And it's all thanks to the fact that we have Magic as the president of basketball operations. We don't have Jim Buster anymore, and we have it known to potential free agents that want to come to the Lakers that this is a franchise that takes winning seriously and wants to uphold the Lakers tradition and wants to usher in a new era of championship Laker basketball. And actually, Magic bleeds purple and gold. No one cares about the Lakers in the purple and gold more than Magic Johnson. So, I mean, I remember a few years back when Magic wasn't involved with the franchise, he was on the record as saying that if Jeanie Buss wanted to sell the team, he'd be first in line. And now she's the controlling owner. She represents the Lakers at the NBA Board of Governors meeting. And and now that Magic is president of basketball operations, I mean, it establishes a level of credibility and seriousness that we haven't had in the franchise for so many years. So it's like when I remember playing fucking 2K17 with my friend on his PS4 and doing the My GM mode and trying to, like, convince LeBron and other free agents to come to the Lakers. And, like, you get into conversation with them and, like, they tell you, oh, we respect your winning history and stuff like that, but we're not convinced that your team wants to win now. So it's like the real life shit, like, sears its way into fucking video games. Like, and that's the reality of it. Like, no one wanted to come to the Lakers because it's like, I mean, they paid Kobe a lot of money. I mean, people said, oh, Kobe should have taken a pay cut. Like, give the man his money. He earned it. I mean, I thought we had a nice young nucleus of talent. Like, I liked Clarkson. I liked D'Angelo. I loved Larry Nance. And I thought that young nucleus, if it had stayed together long enough, it could have really gelled and really turned into something. And I love Julius Randle, too, when he was there. But it didn't matter how much talent we had. It didn't matter if Kobe was healthy or not. Because we had Jim Buss, who was letting his personal agenda get in the way. it made it known to free agents. Like, I remember Stephen A. talked about this on First Take a lot, whether it was with Skip Bayless or Max Carmen. He'd bring up how, like, Jeannie and Jim were in the same gym, but on opposite ends of the court, nowhere near one another. It's just so, the franchise was so dysfunctional. Like, I think that's part of what scared free agents away. Like, we probably could have landed someone decent in the last few years or so, but we didn't because we had this, like, persona, and, like, the way we look to other players around the league is that we look like a franchise that didn't take shit seriously. But we do, and now we look like we do because we have the right people in the right positions. Rob Pelinka is a good GM. He used to be Kobe's agent, so he knows the franchise. Of course, Magic is the president of basketball operations. I liked Mitch Kupchak. Remember, Mitch Kupchak's the one that got Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown back in 2008. Of course, that led to 3 straight finals appearances, 2 straight titles. And, I liked Mitch Kupchak, but, I'd say, what have you done for me lately? So, definitely good that we moved on. I'm just glad that the Jim Buss is gone, so. Now that we have this new era of Laker basketball where a championship is almost certainly on the horizon, I'm very excited. So, of course, it helps that I think give it a year or two. This current Golden State team, as presently constructed, has to dissolve at some point. Like if I were Klay Thompson, I'd want to just go somewhere else and like command a max contract and lead a team of my own, average 20 plus points a game, and be an actual leader. Like, I feel like he'll always be in Steph's shadow, especially if he stays in Golden State. It's like Durant obviously never should have been a Warrior. Not because, I want my other team to, like, I have nothing wrong with him wanting to pursue a championship, but it just takes all the competitive fervor out of it. Like, he went to the 73-9 team that beat him in the conference finals. Now, that 73-9 team had to lose a few pieces like Bogut and Pachulia, or no, not Pachulia, but I think they had to lose like fucking. They lost Harrison Barnes and they lost a few pieces to that team in order to get Durant. But nevertheless, they won 73-9. I understand they didn't win the championship. They blew the 3-1 lead. We all laughed at that when that happened. But they beat Durant. They went 73-9 in the regular season, and he joined that team. Like, we all thought it was bad when LeBron went to Miami. But the move to Golden State was 20 times worse. It's an insult to competitive fervor. It's an insult to basketball, in my personal opinion. So, for my own personal moral reasons, I wish this team would go the fuck away. Like, I wish this team would break up. But I understand and accept that's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen for the reasons I want it to happen. It might just happen because of salary cap reasons, or Klay might want to go and pursue a max contract and lead his own team. Max Kellerman said on First Take that, as time goes on, his game might not age as gracefully. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this team devolves. I mean, they got DeMarcus Cousins. I understand he tore his ACL. Not his ACL, or tore his Achilles. So I understand he won't be ready to go until at least the playoffs. But if he's 100% by the playoffs, then it's a fucking wrap. They're going to win another championship. So. And if they keep him, God help us. But they got him at a huge discount, even though I understand he is injured, but they got him at a huge discount. And it's like they still have Iguodala as the sixth man. Remember, Iguodala was an all-star in Philadelphia. He's a former Finals MVP. Of course, he's a good defensive player, and he gives LeBron fits on defense sometimes. But the team is just too stacked. I mean, it's part of the reason why I said it takes away competitive fervor. Like, why would a superstar go to the 73-9 team that beat him? I mean, well, at least with LeBron, it's like him and, like, Dwayne Wade was already in Miami, obviously, but then him and Chris Bosh joined him in Miami to defeat their common enemy, which was the Boston Celtics, right? So, I mean, we'll see what happens with this season, but I'm definitely rooting for my Lakers. I mean, no, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Lakers fan. I think objectively speaking, we've got a chance to win a championship in the next year or two. Probably not this season because Golden State is just too good. And that core nucleus of fucking Infinity Stones is still together, but that's besides the point. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty fun season. I'm sure Kawhi Leonard's just going to bite his time in Toronto. I don't know if he's going to want to stay. hope DeMar DeRozan does well in San Antonio, because we definitely tell DeRozan wanted to stay in Toronto. He loves that town. He loves the team. So it's probably weird for him to move on to a new team. But, I mean, speaking of the Spurs, like, Manu retired, and then Tony Parker went to the fucking Hornets, and then Pop is probably going to retire in a couple of years. So there's an era of Spurs basketball slowly coming to an end before my eyes. And, I mean, at the very least, they'll still be winning and still being in the playoffs, which speaks to how great the Spurs are as a team and as an organization. But fuck, it's an era. Like, Timmy's gone, Manu's gone, Tony left, went to the Hornets. Like I said, Pop's on his way out in a few years or so. What we have right now is, like, I like the team that, like, the Spurs are my second favorite team behind the Lakers. Like, starting lineup with DeJounte Murray, DeRozan, Rudy Gay, Aldridge, and Gasol. I know Gasol's 38, but that's a good-ass lineup. So, definitely going to be a playoff team. Might be a 7th or 8th seed, albeit, but nevertheless, they're definitely going to be in the playoffs. I don't see that team giving up a playoff spot. I mean, I'm sure Utah will be back in the playoffs because Donovan Mitchell is obviously, still going to lead the team. Rudy Gobert is obviously the defensive anchor of that team. Minnesota, they're imploding. Jimmy Butler's on his way out, so I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Denver is a bit underrated. I like Kenneth Faried a lot, but I don't see them making the playoffs this year. I just don't think they're not talented enough. Obviously, with the Lakers coming back into the playoff mix, that's going to bump one of those teams out of the mix. So, fucking New Orleans, I mean, they still got fucking Anthony Davis, so. And they still have Drew Holiday, too, right? I think they do, so. I think the Pelicans will still be in the playoffs. Trailblazers, I think as long as they have Lillard and McCollum, they'll definitely be in playoff contention. The Thunder, pretty much the same deal. As long as Westbrook's there, he won't let the team lose. And plus, Paul George is there for the long term. He just re-upped for the long term. So that'll definitely help their chances of staying in playoff contention. It's definitely going to be interesting. I wonder what the seeding will be. I'd say Warriors 1, Rockets 2, Lakers 3, Utah 4th, Thunder 5th, Spurs 6th, Nuggets 7th, Pelicans 8th. So you can knock the Timberwolves out. You can definitely knock the fucking Clippers out. Then, of course, God knows, Phoenix and Sacramento, they'll never be in the fucking playoffs again because no one knows how to do shit in those franchises. God bless the fans of Sacramento. They've been suffering. Since the Timberwolves made the playoffs last year, that now gives the Kings the longest active playoff drought in the NBA. They haven't made the playoffs since 2006. And so many good players came and went. Like Tyreek was Rookie of the Year. Remember, they obviously had DeMarcus Cousins. They had Kevin Martin for a while. They had Rudy Gay, Rondo, and DeMarcus Cousins on the same team at one time. So, God bless the fans of Sacramento. Yeah, but it's definitely going to be interesting out west. I don't know what's going to be like the East. Certainly the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics are my pick to win the championship. They're not just my dark horse. They are my official pick to win the championship. Kyrie coming back, Hayward coming back, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Rozier Morris. That team is fucking deadly. So they're my pick to win the championship. They have a more cohesive team. Like I said, Kyrie and Gordon Hayward are coming back 100%. And Brad Stevens is probably, I think he's the best coach in basketball right now. So I definitely got, it's funny, I'm a Lakers fan and I picked the Celtics to win the championship. I want them to win the championship because fuck Golden State. It's kind of funny how it works out. So I don't think any other Lakers fan would ever say such a thing, but here I am. Definitely going to be interesting. I'd say Philadelphia 2nd seed, Toronto's number 3, Washington's number 4, Pacers 5th. That leaves 3 more spots. I'd say Miami 6th. Yes. Send out D-Wade. Because send him out on a competitive platform, at least going to the playoffs. So that'd be nice for him to close out his career because he said he's retiring at the end of the season. That leaves 2 more spots. The Pistons, I don't know. The Hornets, I think the Hornets could probably slip in the 7th and 8th seed because I like Kemba a lot. Kemba's very talented point guard. That leaves 1 more spot. Who should we throw in there? Chicago? No. Milwaukee. With the Greek Freak and Thonmaker, definitely going to be interesting combination if they stay together and grow together. Well, just 30 seconds ago, I was thinking, damn, it's gonna be really hard to pick the seeding for the East, and there I just banged out those 8 teams a lot faster than I thought I would. I'm not asking for a pat on the back, but I'm actually kind of impressed with myself. So definitely should be interesting. MVP, I'd say LeBron could definitely win MVP. It's defensive player of the year probably Rudy Gobert again. Hard to tell who'd rookie of the year to be because I haven't really been following this rookie class as much. Maybe give it to DeAndre Ayton. I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting again because, like I said, me as a Lakers fan, I'm trying not to be biased. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. But considering I'm a Lakers fan now that I have a fucking horse in the race, now it's actually going to be interesting and exciting to watch because now I'm personally excited about it and I'm personally into it. So upcoming season is definitely going to be a lot of fun to watch. Leave a comment below, tell me what you think the seeding is going to be, and so on and so forth.